So I start with most people. It's like, hey, let's jump on a quick discovery call and figure out like where are you trying to go? And usually, a lot of times, there's some really low hanging fruit of what do you need to fix immediately that could help you solve a few problems before you think about marketing leads, in additional softwares and stuff. And so the most people come to me with, oh, I want this somewhere 3, 4 steps down the road, but it's like, let's back up back into step one and figure out where you're going. From there, we're going to work. A lot of times we build some custom sell sheets. So whether you have, you're doing roofing and you're doing any type of roof replacement, coatings, metals, etc., you're selling those to a client. And so if you don't understand who your ideal client is, we're going to sit down and have a marketing strategy session. We're going to build a little blueprint for, hey, what's this business that you're looking to get more of? And then we're going to build some sell sheets that speak directly to that person. And so for many of the people like the Proline users, um, anybody that's selling shingle roofs, it's like we're selling to 1, 2, 3 types of people. We know if you've been doing this long enough, if you go out and meet with homeowners, there's not a lot of variation. We know the things that you're going to ask, the questions that they have, the problems that they face. So let's build your proposal in a way that they can see that you're going to be the person to solve their problems, answer their questions, and they didn't even have to ask you because you've presented and said, listen, I'm so sure that I know answers to these questions because I've done this and I've asked these to so many homeowners have spoken to me about this before. I've got this all here. So when I come out for my site visit, I don't have to spend an hour with you. I can spend the time. You've had a chance to look through a sell sheet that gives me the rundown so that I'm familiar with you and we can kind of get to business a little bit quicker. Once we have that and you've got a sell sheet that really enables your business to pitch to a customer without you in front of them, and we find ways for you to use something like that to drive more business on a website. Let's come up with some ideas of, we built some sell sheets for you, but what can we do to make that a little homeowner's guide so that when somebody comes to your website, they can download this after the contact. And so we'll build some strategies of, here's some low hanging fruit to add value to your customer in that journey of the roof replacement process. Once we know that, hey, we've got a sell sheet that can really sell for us and explain us, then we can start thinking more about the operations and behind the scenes of what are those things that we need to do, whether it's speaking to a customer before they've closed a sale or managing that customer better throughout the operation side of it when they're ready for production. And so that can be a number of things, whether it's implementing some strategy sessions where we're going to work to clean up your process. So it's like, hey, let's see if we can automate some things on your existing system. Are there levers that we could pull, make changes that we could make to make your operation more efficient? And so we'll have discussions about virtual assistants, instant roof quote tools like Roofle, things like that, where we can, if we're building a sandwich, it's like, let's add the lettuce, let's add the tomato, let's add the sauce now. So, but at the beginning, it's like we need that basic of, do you have qualifying questions? Do you have all these things sorted out before we work on a more efficient organization? And then the last part, is usually some sort of continuing strategy where people are like, hey, we've got all that stuff under control. Now I need to find ways to get additional leads for my business besides paying for Google, paying for this. And so people will come to me and say, hey, I want you to create a funnel where I can get some commercial roof coatings customers, or I want specific shingle roofing customers. It's like, okay, we got to go back to that first phase of, let's think through this. If you have all that in place, great, let's start working on building those things. But a lot of times, what people need from me and what I provide for contractors is, pay me for some time so I can pick your brain and we can kind of, I don't know, let's use the boxing analogy since that's been pretty present in our industry lately. It's like, let me be your sparring partner for ideas where it's like, hey, I have an ideal process that I've built in my business. You come up to me, we can talk and see what you can do to kind of punch yours up and make yours a little bit better, closer to an ideal process and what we're missing along the way. So,
Yeah. So I'm hearing this all starts with going through and building out that marketing, that one page marketing plan, right? That's
yep,
the beginning of all of this
yep.
and the
Yeah,
foundational
marketing,
piece.
a
What
blueprint. Yep.
the blueprint. So let me ask you this, like, what is the symptoms that you see in roofing business of a business that has not done the one page marketing plan, or a marketing plan in general, does not have that all mapped out already? What does that look like? What are we solving? Or like, what is the symptoms? What is the outcomes of not doing that?
The outcomes of not doing it is that you won't be specific in the channel that you choose to market, for example. And so if you say, my customer is anybody with a shingle roof, well, there's a lot of different people that are going to shop in different channels for that. And so if you think you're advertising to anyone with a roof versus a specific person in a specific neighborhood that buys it a specific way, it's a much, much broader search term. And so you're gonna put out, pay for ads, you're gonna run uh, marketing promotions, things of that nature, where it's talking to anybody, but not really talking to anybody at all specifically. And so the best forms of advertising in marketing to your customers is going to be when you're speaking to a specific person. And so if you don't know who it is you're talking to, you're going to talk in vague terms and it's not going to get the right eyeballs on it. So you're going to spend more money on leads if you're running for paid ads because they're not going to convert as well as somebody who speaks to a client specific problem, for one example.
Yeah. Would you say would you say that if a contractor is struggling maybe with what to say in their advertising
Yep.
and or they're putting something out, they figure out what to say, but then it's not attracting a, a really good result. Like they're not getting, it's not engaging with the audience like they want it to. Those are
Yep.
those would be like symptoms of like, if that's you, if you're hearing that, then you might just not have your marketing strategy in
Yeah,
place
here's a good one.
first.
So let's say you're running an ad. So you're running an ad like in a directory for your city directory where it's going to be mailed only to residents. It's not going to be mailed to, commercial properties. This is a resident directory. Okay, well, if you put an ad up that says roofing, like here's our logo, here's our phone number, here's our manufacturer certifications, and then commercial roofing, flat roofing, metal roofing, shingle roofing, that's probably not talking to the right person because when you open that flyer up and you see, there's playground sets, there's things like that, they're speaking to, this is going to families. You need to write an ad that's going to talk to families. Sure, maybe somebody living there is a commercial property manager and they see it, but the odds are most of the people that open that up, it's a person that owns a house in the neighborhood and they're going to be thinking, I need a shingle roof only. They're not thinking about these other items. And so you should really drive your messaging on that to that person so that when they open this up, there's a better chance they're going to call you versus, oh, I don't see something that I engage with. It's just a bunch of things about roofing. So,
Yeah, then that makes perfect sense. Like, and it doesn't seem like I mean, it seems like it's some work, but it's not like a massive undertaking to do this, right?
mm-mm.
It's you mentioned it like it's one page, right? That you're filling out.
Yep. Yeah,
What
this
is
is,
that? Can you kind of
I've got
walk
a,
us through some of it? Like
yeah,
give
so,
us some
well,
examples.
So I've got a stack of books too, because I feel like it's always like I started, it's all self-taught. Like I didn't really pay people. I didn't have a marketing background. And so I used things that people either referred to me, I found. But this is the book. It's called The One Page Marketing Plan by Alan Dibb. Basically, it's a 9 block like sequence that you go through and it walks you through every part of the journey that your customer is going to be on. And so it's starts with the idea of who is this person you're trying to sell to and get very specific, like put a name to them, put an age to them. So if you've never created the customer avatar before, it's going to walk you through that, help you figure out what's the emotions that they face along this journey.